victim was a beautiful 27-year-old woman who rented a small farmhouse north of Waterford, Ontario. She worked for the Good Humor factory in nearby Simcoe, was financially secure and an excellent employee. In fact, she was a friendly girl with a great personality, well liked by just about everyone. All except for one person, that is. The man who killed her has yet to be found. On the morning of June 19th, 1982, at approximately 12:10 a.m., Marlene Schnitzer returned home from a 4 to midnight shift. Described as a girl with a bubbly personality, she was well liked by all the people police interviewed in connection with the case. In fact, no one could think of a logical reason for the horror that awaited her. Marlene punched out at 11:57 p.m. on the evening of June 18th, 1982. She had canceled plans to go out for a drink with a few of her friends, deciding to go home instead. Marlene lived alone at a small farmhouse she'd been renting about 1.5 miles north of Waterford. She was expecting her boyfriend, Wade Brown. In fact, he was only minutes away from arriving.
Wait, is that you? What are you doing here?
What happened? What could possibly have provoked Marlene's attacker to murder the girl in cold blood? With no apparent motive, the attacker might have turned off the kitchen light, made a hasty escape, never to be found. But there was to be a witness to the crime. Wade Brown turned into the driveway just as the lights went out.
So I got out of the Jeep, walked back the laneway and picked up the paper. Came back to the house, went to go in, had picked up the bag, realized then it wasn't hers.
How did you know it wasn't Marlene's purse?
It had a single strap, and it was more burlap than it was corduroy. And there was a little tag on the one corner of where the strap came into the purse itself, or the bag itself.
Was the door locked when you went to it?
Yes.
What did you do then?
I tried it, and then realized it was locked, and I knocked on the door. And the male voice said, "Come in."
Did you wonder what the man was doing there, since only Marlene's car was in the driveway?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that kind of eased my mind a little bit, or settled my mind whether someone's had car trouble someplace, or someone's here for a ride, or it's someone that Mara knows, or something like that. I don't know. It just... I was not scared, by no means, or upset or anything like that.
In a moment, we'll take a look at the events leading up to the murder, the day of June 18th, 1982, and find out what happened to Wade Brown when he entered Marlene's house. Simcoe, Ontario, in November 1954. As a child, she attended Townsend Public School and then went on to Waterford District High, where she successfully completed grade 12. For a while, Marlene worked for her father, a cash cropper near Simcoe. By 1977, she was employed by the Good Humor Company, a division of Beatrice Foods.
She was back here in season. She was always here, planting, hoeing, picking. And she worked, days she worked up to 2 o'clock, and 4 o'clock she went to work in the factory. So she was a girl, she just was go, go, go.
Did you frequently visit the home Marlene was renting?
I was there, definitely, just I didn't go there every day, no, not that way. Just maybe once a week or once 2 weeks, whatever. And the way the time allowed, and well, she was here pretty well every day, so it wasn't necessary to go there.
There's always work needed on that Jeep.
Hey, why don't you call Andy and Teresa today? Let's see if there's a dance going this weekend.
Sure, okay.
Hey, it's payday. I gotta go to the bank, gotta do a little shopping, pay a few bills, I gotta buy some clothes.
And I gotta get to the bank, too.
So what do you want to do for lunch? I know. Let's get a pizza. So what do we want on it?
Double cheese, mushrooms, and no olives, okay?
No. How about olives, anchovies, double cheese, and hold the mushrooms?
But I want mushrooms.
Okay, we can have mushrooms.
Marlene went into Simcoe to pick up her check. She told Wade she was planning to go to the bank, pick up some groceries at Loblaws, and stop in at Cowbeck's in Waterford on her way back home. Wade also went to his bank, picked up a pizza for lunch, and arrived at Marlene's about 12:50 that afternoon.
I'll drink.
Thanks. It's great. Here, finish it off.
All right. Well, it's chance, huh? You having any?
No, I'm full.
Not even any mushrooms? Not gonna hold the mushrooms, eh?
No. I want to get some sun.
Oh, look, Mark. I gotta cut the grass over at my place today. Can I borrow the lawnmower back of your house?
Mm-hmm. Oh, only be careful, would you? It's not mine, it's Dad's.
Sure, no problem. Listen, I gotta get going. See you later.
Okay. Think I'll just catch some more rays.
She treated me with respect. I treated her with respect. We had lots in common. Anything we went to do or go any place, she always said, would you like to go here, or would you like to go there, or do this, or do that? I'd make suggestions back and forth. It was not one-sided by no means. If she wanted to do something, she'd mention it to me, and we'd toss it around a little bit. And it was fun. She was exciting. She was fun to be with. And if you pulled a joke or something, pulled a funny, she'd laugh, pick it up right away. Everything just seemed to be so good.
Shortly before 4 o'clock that afternoon, both Marlene and Wade arrived to start their shift at the Good Humor plant. Work would end that evening at midnight. A lot of people were later interviewed by police, and they reported that Wade and Marlene appeared to get along fine that evening. There were no fights and no arguments.
How's everything going?
Pretty good tonight, Wade. Not bad at all.
Hey, good. You know where to find me if you need me, eh?
Yeah, I'll give you a call if I go too far.
Okay, I will. I'll check you later.
Find out about the dance? What did Andy say?
Andy didn't go into all the details, so I went over to Teresa's. Look, why don't we just listen to some music? Why don't we just stay home?
Oh, no, I want to dance. Okay? See you later.
Marlene punched out at exactly 11:57 that night. Witnesses say she appeared absolutely normal. Nothing seemed to be bothering her. Wade punched out at 5 minutes after midnight, but stopped to chat for about 10 minutes with two of his co-workers.
Hey, Wade, you want to go down to Marcos for beer?
Oh, I'd love to. I gotta get to Marlene's. I gotta see what she'd say.
Oh, do you?
But we will make last call.
All right. Yeah, we can do that.
So how's the old Jeep running now, Wade?
Oh, it's running not bad, not bad. I need a change of oil, though. I'll do that tomorrow.
So maybe we'll see you down there? Last call?
Try my best.
Okay.
I'll see you guys
We'll see you later, eh?
Because of distance, it's estimated that Marlene arrived home at about 12:10 a.m. Wade would follow and arrive here at 12:25. Now, what follows, as bizarre as it may seem, is a factual account.
Wade, is that you?
What are you doing here?
Come in.
You can't, it's locked.
Sorry. Get over there. By her.
You crazy or something? You want any money?
You got some?
Yeah, take it. Take the car, take anything. Just get the hell out of here. Leave us alone.
Wade Brown ran from the house, managing to flag down a pickup truck. He rode into Waterford and called the police. Bob Walsh of the regional force picked up a shaken Wade Brown and returned him to the scene of the murder. They arrived at approximately 1:02 a.m. OPP were informed of the incident and rushed to the scene.
On location, you can advise the OPP everything appears 10-4 for the time being.
Constable Walsh had the south and east sides of the house covered with his headlights. When the OPP arrived, they covered the north side of the house with their headlights and a searchlight.
Staircase secure.
Kitchen secure.
Police were able to see Marlene on the floor of the kitchen. But they were not sure if the suspect was still hiding somewhere inside the house. Using extreme caution, Corporal Stewart of the OPP did a room-by-room search of the main floor, covered by other officers at the windows and the doors. Both the upstairs and the downstairs of the home were cleared by police and a canine team. Detective Inspector Roy Stroud was assigned to investigate.
Marlene was shot twice in the chest at close range with a .38 caliber weapon, and she died instantly from the wounds. The weapon was of the regular .38 caliber as opposed to the .38 special. We feel it was shot from one of the more inexpensive makes of the .38 weapon by the action of the weapon as described by Mr. Brown and the lead from examination during the ballistics.
Every rifled firearm has small imperfections in the barrel. These imperfections produce marks on the bullets when they are fired. Using a comparison microscope, a bullet from a crime scene can be compared with a test bullet that has been test fired from a suspect firearm. If the fine marks on the crime scene bullet and on the test bullet match, then the suspect firearm may be identified as having been used in the crime.
Were there any fingerprints taken at the scene?
Yes, we dusted the scene, which is the usual identification procedure, and we did come up with a partial fingerprint in the kitchen area. That partial fingerprint is revealing a number of positive points of identification, and it is a fingerprint foreign to the normal occupants of that house or associates of the occupants of that house. So we feel we have a partial fingerprint of the intruder.
Footprints were spotted in the field immediately to the west and north of Marlene's house. Tell me about the cap.
Yes, Patrick, this is very important piece of evidence, and this is the actual cap that was found at the scene under young Marlene's leg. It is the Army variety. It was made by the Principal Hat Company in 1969 and issued to the Canadian Army, which includes the militia and cadet units. It has been slightly altered to what the Army regulations would allow. There's a black button sewn on each side. On this side it's a 2-hole button, and on this side it's a 4-hole button. This has been sewn on by the owner, and perhaps to accommodate a chin strap so that it could be worn perhaps on a tractor or out in the wind without losing the cap. Originally, these dome fasteners here held this neck protector portion up, and in this particular cap, the fasteners have been torn out, leaving holes in the material. And in view of the dome fasteners being removed, the person has sewn the tip of this flap up to the main portion of the cap. Inside the sweatband of the hat, there was quite an abundance of vegetation fiber, more commonly known as chaff in the farming community.
What did the chaff found in the hat tell you?
That told us that this hat had at one time been around the farming community, perhaps worn by a farmer or a farm hand. It definitely has had some time in the farming area to have that amount of chaff.
Would you like to discuss the cigarette butt that was left at the scene?
We have now established that the cigarette that was in that ashtray was not lit by Marlene. Laboratory evidence has indicated to us that it was lit by somebody, but not by young Marlene.
The top coat was located 75 yards south of Marlene's residence in a tree line. It's directly in line with the area where she normally sunbathed, and it's also in line with her bedroom window. It was located in the early morning hours on a perimeter search. It is a size 40 man's black top coat. It contains a red lining, and in the pocket was a man's pair of sunglasses. There's a possibility that an intruder of sorts may have been watching Marlene from this area. He would not have been seen by passers-by, but he would have had a clear view of Marlene and her activities around the house. We are uncertain as to if it is connected, and if so, how long this person had been there.
Was there any evidence at that point of sexual attack?
Expert examination of Marlene's body determined that there was no evidence whatsoever of a sexual attack.
Describe the man you saw.
Dark hair, wavy, not long, shoulder length or nothing like that. It didn't cover his ears or anything like that. It was above his ears, a little bit maybe covered his ears. The round, piercing eyes, they weren't tapered down the ends, they were round eyes, and high cheekbones, and full face, a good, I guess a good-looking fella, I guess. And the black and red lumberjack coat, which is what I mostly noticed then. And then the rest of them later, the blue jeans and the work boots.
There is a reward offered by the Ontario government of $15,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of persons or persons responsible for the death of Marlene Schnitzer.
We have been left with the cap, the .22 ammunition, the fingerprint, the cigarette butt by the assailant, and I'm quite optimistic that this case will come to a successful conclusion.
Marlene Schnitzer and Wade Brown were brutally attacked early on the morning of June 19th, 1982. Brown was shot with a .22 caliber handgun. The assailant carried with him a green Canadian Army hat, manufactured in 1969, and an Army-type knapsack. The hat was found at the scene of the crime. A black topcoat, located near a fence south of the victim's house, contained a pair of men's sunglasses in the pocket. If you or anyone you know saw a man either wearing these articles or fitting the description of the composite, please call the Simcoe detachment of the OPP at 426-3434 or your local police. When we come back, we'll give you a tip on how to avoid the temptation of a long-term stay abroad in prison.
This is Dennis Melvin Howe, a suspect in the homicide of Sharon Morningstar Keenan. Howe is described as white, 5 foot 9 inches and 165 pounds. He has a dark complexion, dark brown hair, and brown eyes. He may be wearing a mustache now and is presumed to be 30 pounds lighter in weight compared to this photo. There is a $50,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of Howe. If you have seen this man, contact your local police or the Metro Toronto Police Homicide Squad at 967-2375.
In a foreign jail is no holiday. And recently there's been a dramatic increase in the number of Canadians arrested abroad. The reason? Illegal drug activities.
Our last publication indicates that probably the illicit drug traffic in Canada is worth anywhere from $7 to $8 billion. What we'd like to accomplish, obviously, is to alert people, potential couriers who are traveling to source countries, to the fact that if they are arrested there, and if they're incarcerated there, they're facing a very, very severe penalty, and probably under some of the most archaic living conditions that are possible to imagine. Normally, the couriers are people who are hired. They're not really into the organizing of the drug importation into Canada. They are strictly a vehicle by which the drugs are entered into Canada. They are paid a minimum amount of money, and of course they take the greatest risk, because if they're caught with the drug, and obviously they're going to suffer the consequences, the full consequences. It's fairly attractive for some people, especially the younger people who are unemployed and who don't have a chance to travel.
Drugs are a one-way trip. Don't join other Canadians abroad for a stay in prison. This is an offer you should refuse. Again, police are asking for your help to find the murderer of Marlene Schnitzer. You can contact the Ontario Provincial Police Simcoe Detachment at 426-3434 or your local police. I'm Patrick Conlon for Citizens Alert.
Transportation for the cast and crew of Citizens Alert provided by Thrifty Rent-A-Car. For reservations or information, look in your yellow pages for the location nearest you. The Minden Manor Motor Inn provided hotel accommodation for the cast and crew of Citizens Alert, featuring 70 spacious air-conditioned units, a complete fitness center with indoor pool, weightlifting, racquetball, exercise machines, and an indoor track. With excellent cuisine at the Tudor Dining Lounge, make your next stay in Simcoe at The Manor.